Hello, my name is Brandon Calloway with Superior Water Systems and Lee's Water Systems. My main office is on North Knoxville Avenue in Peoria, Illinois. Our office number is 309-691-9287 and my private cell phone is 309-415-0232. I'm here at the property today to go over some well water, and my findings is pretty kind of middle of the road, average-ish for the area. For the centrifugal water test, and mine is a it's a WaterLink Spin Touch DW by Lamont Water Systems. It is lab accurate and it is recalibrated once a day, usually around 9 a.m. in the morning. What I found today was a pH of 6.9, which is pretty average. In between 6.9 and 7.4 is ideal for raw water. A hardness of 48.2 grains per gallon. If you would like that converted into ppm, you just take that 48.2 and multiply it by 17.1 and you'll get a hardness part per million. We have a total iron count of 4.1 parts per million. The breakdown of that is 2.3 parts per million for ferric iron and 1.8 parts per million of ferrous iron. We have a copper rating of 0.1 parts per million, a nitrite rating of 0.1 parts per million, and nitrates of 5 parts per million. Now, what does all that mean? TDS. We have a raw TDS of 1,179 straight from the well. What does all this mean? Well, the current water treatment system that is in the basement at the property currently is a Kinetico twin tank non-electric S250 XP OD. I know, a lot of numbers, a lot of letters. Let me explain. Basically what that is a twin tank softener that does not use electricity and it takes care of iron. Now, an S250 from Kinetico is actually designed to take care of 66 parts per million at its absolute maximum. There will be no headroom after that, and it is on an 8 disc, meaning that the system downstairs right now is working at its absolute maximum. By the numbers, as I mentioned earlier, there is 48.2 parts per million of hardness in the water. For every 1 part per million of iron, that is equal to 5 grains per gallon. So then we would take that 4.1 times it by 5, we have 20. Then we would take that 20, we would add it to 48.2, and now bingo bango, we have 68 parts per million, a little bit over that because of the decimal points. However, that being said, we're over that 66. So what we have in the home right now, it's enough to treat the hardness, but it's not enough to treat the iron. So what you'll end up at a base level is water that's going to stain everything. You're going to be brown, you're going to be red over time. You also have the high TDS. So you're basically sandblasting everything in the house with high salt content and high sediment content. The S250 does also have a sediment pre-filter on it. It is a 10-inch pre-filter. I took some photos earlier. The pre-filter itself was just clogged. So I took the liberty of replacing it down there so I can complete some water tests and just be thorough. The reverse osmosis system is knocking the 1179 TDS down to 201. Now, ideally, reverse osmosis water, you want your TDS level in between 1 and 50. That is for good hydration and all that other fun, lovely stuff. Being in the 200s is fine. Normal city water is usually in between, depending on the city, you can find it in the 250s. Down where I live in Tazewell County, we usually find ourselves in between 400 and 600. However, when you have a reverse osmosis system, in between 1 and 50 is ideal. And that's post, so it can do its job. Here in the home, you also have organic iron, also known as bacterial iron. I try to stay away from the B word because this bacteria does not hurt you. It is not harmful to you. It is not harmful to pets. It is only harmful to the house. I want you to think of this stuff kind of like cholesterol to an artery. Over time, that stuff starts to build up in the corners and the joints of the plumbing. And more often than not, when you're not home or when you're on a holiday, that stuff blows and now you have water all over your basement. A Kinetico water treatment system is not designed to treat for that kind of iron. It can handle ferric, it can handle ferrous, and it can handle colloidal, but it cannot handle organic or bacterial iron. For that kind of thing, you need what's known as a chlorination system. And that brings me to the first piece in which I would recommend here. At a base level, what I would recommend for the home is a liquid chlorination system. That would take care of all of the ferric and ferrous iron, and it would handle the organic iron as well. There was a state accredited lab that did a test for E. coli and coliform, and you were negative, so everything is satisfactory there. But in order to take care of the iron and to take care of the organic iron, a liquid chlorination system would be best. At maximum potential for the home, what my professional recommendation is a liquid chlorination system and then a whole home reverse osmosis. This would take care of all of the sandblasting of the faucets, the fixtures, the toilets, the washing machine, the dishwasher, the refrigerator. It would take care of all of that stuff. It would bring the TDS down to an extraordinarily manageable level to be finished by the drinking water system. Your 1179 would be at a minimum an 85% decrease, which would definitely bring it even below municipal city water. So that would be fantastic. Nothing legally needs to be done here. As I already mentioned, the E. coli and coliform test is absolutely satisfactory, so there's nothing that legally needs to happen. However, for ease of use and not replacing all of the faucets, the fixtures, and everything else that water touches in the house every 6 months to a year, I would strongly recommend doing something with the water treatment. And that's everything. If you need to reach out to me, I'm available for any questions. My phone number is at the top of the video. Thank you so much.